Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines, ICpEP Qatar chapter. The topic, Enterprise Cybersecurity Resilience, Harnessing Segmented Networks and Multi-Layered Defense. Mark your calendars, it's gonna be on September 27, 2025 at 12 noon sharp. Joining us is none other than Mr. Valentine Naweze, a rock star in the world of IT and network security. With over 20 years of experience, Mr. Valentine has mastered software development, cybersecurity, and enterprise network infrastructure. Based in Dubai, he's known across the Middle East and Africa for delivering top-tier training, consultancy, and implementation services for leading security solutions. But wait! Slots are limited, so what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code and register.
Part of ICpEP Qatar. Ikaw ba isang
about to begin? So, just sit back and relax. And we kindly ask that you keep your microphones muted and get comfortable as we prepare to start. Our topic for this second webinar is all about enterprise cybersecurity resilience, harnessing segmented networks and multi-layered defense. Start with, let's have first our ecumenical opening prayer to be followed by the national anthem of our host country, Qatar, and the national anthem of the Philippines, and the ICpEP hymn.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شمل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمة في مدينة دباو وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the light of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
Manama, mawantog ka. Warag po ko ilingkoy ko. O Diyos, kahibulungan ka. Busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko. Busa ikaw lang ang alagaran ko.
قسما 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 بمن رفع السماء، قسما بمن نشر الضياء. قطر ستبقى حرة تسمو بروح الأوفياء. سيروا على نهج الأولى، سيروا وعلى ضياء الأنبياء. قطر بقلب سيرة عز وأمجاد الإباء. قطر الرجال الأولين، حماتنا يوم النداء، وحمائم يوم السلام، جوارح يوم الفداء. قطر الرجال الأولين، حماتنا يوم النداء، وحمائم يوم السلام، جوارح يوم الفداء. قسما 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 بمن رفع السماء، قسما بمن نشر الضياء. قطر ستبقى حرة تسمو بروح الأوفياء.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa gagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang islang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang may matitindig. Lumalang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi
connected, be united, be one with our Savior. Build a network, struggle teamwork, together we'll make a stand. ICpEP has a vision to build the country to computer science, technology and engineering, to watch the celebrate the good of the people. ICpEP, a global institution, we partner research and innovation, we design and build enterprise systems of global scale. We promote automation and fixation, we support demand and technology development. We build the future and respect for humanity. ICpEP is the whole our profession to enhance and strengthen our relevance in the global community. One vision, one mission, together is combined to be ICpEP engineers. We are the future. We are ICpEP.
Okay. Thank you again for that giving time to our ecumenical prayer and to the national anthem of our host country, Qatar, and the Philippine anthem, and as well the ICpEP hymn. So before we proceed, let me read to you the house rules. First, this session will be conducted in Zoom. Second, all participants must adhere to the no video and mute audio policy unless given by the floor by the moderator. Third, raise your hands and drop your queries in the chat box. Fourth, please act properly at all times in the chat box as the moderator will act accordingly. All participants who registered in this webinar will receive the digital certificate after filling up and submitting the evaluation form. So, you got it? Okay. Again, welcome to our second webinar session. So our topic for today is Enterprise Cybersecurity Resilience, Harnessing Segmented Networks and Multi-Layered Defense. So I am your moderator for this webinar. I am Engineer Teddy Caduco, and currently the Board of Directors for Ways and Means and ICpEP Qatar, and at the same time, BOD for Public Relations, Events and Programs for ICpEP JCC. Thank you so much for participating in our webinar. And the time right now here in Doha, Qatar, it's 12:15. So good afternoon, everyone, right away from Doha, Qatar. We have lots of participants. So far, we have almost 103 audiences and one speaker. So that's very impressive webinars for today. Are you all excited? Hopefully, everyone is excited since cybersecurity is very trending right now. And also, we welcome our participants all over the world. We have from KSA, Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, Singapore, and of course, Philippines. And we have also students as well, right? So you're all most welcome to our webinars. To proceed with, I would like to call Engineer Mark Eric Embajador for our opening remarks, our Vice President for Internal Affairs, ICpEP Qatar. Engineer Mark?
Hello, everyone. Welcome all professionals and students. Good afternoon. Others will be like good evening in the Philippines. Uh, Welcome to our webinar on enterprise cybersecurity resilience, harassing segment networks, and multi-layered defense. As cyber threats grow more complex, um, strengthening resilience is no longer optional. Today, we'll explore how segmented networks and layered defenses can protect enterprise system more effectively. We're honored to have our expert speaker to share his insight and practical strategies. Please feel free to engage, ask question, and make the most of this session. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin.
Oh, again, thank you, Engineer Mark, for that warm welcome. And we look forward that this webinar will be exciting and informative. So again, welcome all participants all over the world. Good afternoon, good night, good morning. So wherever you are right now, I hope that you are having a good time and just sit back and relax for this webinar. This time I would like to introduce you our speaker, our keynote speaker, Mr. Valentin Mwabeze. He is an accomplished IT professional and network security trainer with over 2 decades of experience spanning software development, cybersecurity, and enterprise network infrastructure. Based in Dubai, he has built a strong reputation across the Middle East and Africa for delivering advanced technology training, consultancy, and implementation services for leading security solutions. As a Fortinet certified trainer and lead trainer at Exclusive Networks, MEA, he has successfully trained hundreds of IT professionals and enterprise clients on Fortinet's full product portfolio. His expertise extends to designing customized training programs and guiding organizations in optimizing their cybersecurity strategies. His professional journey reflects deep technical mastery and adaptability. He has worked as a senior technical consultant at SecureWay Network Distributors, now called Exclusive Networks, where he delivered cybersecurity auditing, pre-sales consultancy, infrastructure design, and certification training for more than 500 partners and end users across the GCC. Earlier in his career, he also provided consultancy in software development, mobile applications, and enterprise IT solutions. He holds certifications from Fortinet, Cisco, F5, Microsoft, and other global leaders covering areas such as network security, penetration testing, patch management, and authentication systems. His broad technical skill set is matched by strong communication and leadership abilities, allowing him to bridge complex technologies with practical business needs. Passionate about empowering organizations and professionals, Valentin has completed 100 plus ICT projects across the GCC. His mission remains clear: to strengthen digital resilience, mentor IT professionals, and drive secure innovation in an increasingly connected world. So that was a very impressive background of our speaker for today. Again, let's all welcome Mr. Valentin Nwabeze, our keynote speaker for this webinar. Mr. Valentin, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Teddy. And it's my pleasure to be here today. I'm very honored. Again, thank you very much. So without much ado, as Mr. Teddy has pretty much done all of the introductions, I'll get on to the actual webinar presentation. Just give me one quick moment, please. So can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, Mr. Valentin, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. So again, thank you very much. So the topic for this presentation or for this webinar is enterprise cybersecurity resilience. And we're going to focus on harnessing segmented networks and multi-layered defense. So here we'll be looking at cyber attacks, the kill chain, and breaking the kill chain using several security technologies and methods. So here we're going to be identifying the main threat actors and their motivations, what makes attackers attack, and what are their motivations, and then we're looking at the different methods of these cyber attacks. Now, cyber attacks usually occur for multiple motives. The first are insiders, such as your former employees who are unhappy for some reason and want to take revenge on the organization. This is one of the most deadly ones because as insiders, they understand the organizational structure and they will have a better idea on how to attack the network and how to get past the security measures currently in place. Then we've also got the script kiddies. These are people who get their hands on several hacking tools like Metasploit, Kali, and so on, and are going to use those tools to try to play around with different methods, different networks. We've also got the organized crime. Those are the ones that are in it for profits. So that's where you see a lot of ransomware, right? So they use technology to gain access to financial organizations for profit completely. We've also got the nations and states where we have attackers that work for the governments. So their role is to breach the security infrastructure for rival countries. Then we've also got the hacktivists. So these are people that are using cyber threats as a means to project their beliefs, which are usually political or socially motivated to, to further emphasize on the issues that they're trying to fight for. So let's take a look at the threat actor risk levels. So we've got the highest level being those that are financially motivated. So that's where you see. Now, one thing I must say about this is that many of these attacks are not in the media. Right? You will never know about these attacks. One, because it's not a good look for the organization when it's publicly known that they were hacked, especially for banks and other financial institutions. And these attacks now gain access to personal information, because this is actually very important because attackers use this okay, I'll give an example. One very common threat these days is an attacker gets access to a senior level team member's email and sends an email request to the finance manager. Now, the finance manager sees an email from the CEO to send money to some account, right? So in many cases, because it's coming from the CEO, the accounting manager will be most likely to go past all of the normal procedure and do the transfer to the attacker's account. Now, how does the attacker gain access to the CEO's email? Because the email will, in most cases, in the more advanced cases, the email will actually come with the email address of the CEO of the organization. So personal information is the most targeted for this reason. And we see these threats with the trend increasing almost every year. And as you can see, the use of malware, mostly ransomware now, has increased about close to 400% as of today. So the COVID pandemic led to a spike in cyber threats. Why? Because everyone was now working from home. So most organizations had to open up their internal network to external access because everybody was working from home. People couldn't go to the office. So it's like when you open your door to everyone, right? Then good people come in and also bad people come in as well. So there was a huge spike because of the COVID pandemic, and it's still going on because we still have the work from home thing. So now a lot of that was happening through social engineering, which is the most common method of attacks now. Hence, protecting our personal data is critical these days. So back to the different types of attacks. So we've got the opportunity attacks. Where the threat actor is not specifically targeting your organization. This is where you have an attacker sending spam emails to hundreds of organizations, hoping that the spam will be opened by one or two people, and that is how it's found. So, and also attackers publish malicious or compromised websites with the hope that users will click on links to that website and will lead to the download of ransomware or malicious content in the background of the user's device. And then attackers can also test an organization's websites and identify it as vulnerable, hence they launch attack as well. They've also got the targeted attacks. This is where the attacker is actually focused on targeting a specific organization. So this is a very dangerous threat because the attacker will launch all the tools that he or she has at their disposal towards the organization. So the idea is to either disrupt the organization service or get some financial returns from the organization. So here the attacker will use different methods and means to devise a way to breach the network. So next, let's look at the kill chain. Here we're going to be looking at the different ways the attacks are launched. So we're looking at understanding the anatomy of different attacks. So attacks usually follow this process. We've got the reconnaissance process where the attacker scopes the victim. We've got the weaponization where the attacker decides on the tools to use to launch the attack based on the vulnerabilities that have been found in the organization. And then the delivery is when the attacker has decided on what tools to use to launch the attack and push out the attack and see which of the attacks will actually go through. Then the exploits. This is where the attacker finds a compromised system or systems and uses that system to that will be the target system where the attack will be the baseline from here. And then we've got the command and control. So here the attacker detects an exploit in the organization's device or devices, and then remotely controls that device either by launching ransomware or running some commands and so on. Then the next step will be the lateral movement. So now the attacker has found an entry point. The attacker can then go on to spread the attack to different vulnerable devices in the network. Why? Because they've now found a pathway to access the network. The next, we've got the data extraction, where the attacker is able to get access to user data and see how they can, and then see how they can extract data for either financial gain or for whatever motive made them initiate the attacks. So this is pretty much an extension of what I just explained in the previous slide. So the reconnaissance step is still the first step where the attacker gathers information about the organization. We've got passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance is where the attacker is able to collect information without interacting with the organization. And we've also got the non-technical and technical methods of passive reconnaissance. So non-technical is where the attacker is able to get information about the organization using the press releases, social media, and so on. We've also got the technical passive reconnaissance, where the attacker knows different ways and different methods, such as using whois, job postings, help forums, and so on. While active reconnaissance involves directly interacting with the organization, either by trying to send them spam or outright dumpster diving. The next, we're looking at the weaponization. So now the attacker has got some information about the organization. So at this point, the attacker creates the attack. So depending on resources, the attackers may use zero-day exploits. Now, zero-day exploits are pretty much attacks that have not been seen in the cybersecurity world before. Hence, there is no security in place for it in terms of antivirus signatures or firewall settings that have identified that attack. So zero-day attacks are pretty much the most dangerous attacks as of today. And then we've also got the backdoors, where the attacker is able to compromise some servers or any device in the network and use that compromised device to carry out their attacks. So for this to work, attackers ensure that all the exploits and malware use evasive techniques. Now, these evasive techniques are getting more and more interesting daily. So in some cases, we have the attackers able to manipulate their codes to change with each time an antivirus software, for example, is trying to access or scan the compromised device. So now with AI, it's going to become more complex. So everyone is trying to outsmart the other. So it's really impressive to see how this works. Then the delivery phase is where we've got different mechanisms that can be used for the delivery of the attack based on the information that the attacker has gathered during the reconnaissance phase. So some of the delivery methods include phishing emails, where the attacker sends emails with malicious attachments. This is something we have to be very, very careful about. So be careful about the attachments you choose to open, even if it's from a trusted family member or like your employees, staff, colleagues, and so on. I've also got the drive-by downloads, where users are prompted or deceived to download malicious content. Then we've got the web application and attacks. Here, the attacker, during the reconnaissance phase, analyzes the web applications, for example, the banking websites, hotel websites, and so on. So these are called web application attacks, where the attacker identifies some vulnerabilities in web applications and uses that to get access to the network. Then we've got dropped USB sticks. So here, the attacker or attackers will leave a USB stick somewhere visible for someone in the organization to gain access to. So, for example, whenever we see a USB stick, we're curious to see what is in it. So as soon as you plug in that USB stick, the device gets compromised, because we've got some auto executables that will be stored in those USB sticks that will install malicious content in the background. And of course, default weak or compromised credentials. This is where we have weak passwords. So weak passwords can be compromised using multiple tools such as Cain and Abel and a bunch of others. So what these tools can do is that there is a dictionary of the globally known weak passwords. For example, ABC123. Those are very common passwords that people will want to use because they want to remember them. However, these weak passwords are already part of an attack dictionary. So the attacking tools will automatically try to generate these commonly used weak passwords and use that to gain access to enterprise systems. Then for the exploits, this is where the attacks are triggered. So the exploit can either be because of an unpatched 0-day vulnerability or a command and control and so on. Also, the attack can be used by or can be launched by tricking the user into installing some command and control software or ransomware onto their system. However, whatever mechanism is used, it allows the attacker to gain a foothold within the organization and further spread the attack. Then the command and control says when the attacker has gotten a foothold in the organization and using the compromised system to further spread the attack. So that's where we have the remote access Trojans or RAT software, which allows the attacker to remotely control the compromised machine and use it to further exploit the compromised network. So the way it works is that the RAT software will use a reverse connection in order to overcome any network address transition issues or firewall security measures that are in place. Now, for the CNC to work, the attacker will establish a secure tunnel using HTTPS or DNS tunnels to encrypt the data that is being sent back and forth through the RAT software. Okay. So we've also got web shells to compromise web servers. We're talking about the web applications used by banks and other financial institutions. Then the lateral movement phase. This is where the attacker gains access to the organization through a single device and then spreads to multiple devices in the network. So the attacker moves from system to system until they get to the system or to the device that is their primary target, usually the one that contains personal information or financial information. And from there, the attacker can then exfiltrate or extract the data. So at this stage, the attackers will use standard and legitimate tools within the network, such as the real mile, PowerShell, and other normal tools in the network to further advance their attack without any detection. So like I said, for data exfiltration, the attacker now has access to data that they want, and they're able to extract that data to further their attacks. So while the attack continues, the attacker always tries to keep on evading security measures in place and remain hidden in the network by using backdoors and so on in case they are discovered. So when they are discovered by any of the tools, they can easily get back into the network anytime they want. So next, we'll look at breaking the kill chain. So breaking the kill chain is where we'll prevent cyber attacks using network segmentation. And for this, we'll be using Fortinet products as a case study. So this looks complex, but do not worry about it. Here we're talking about the different ways that we can deploy firewalls. Right? So depending on the complexity of the network, you will need to deploy different firewalls in different locations of your network. And depending on the location where you deploy the firewall, you will need to have different throughputs and different security measures to be deployed. So if you've got, excuse me, a distributed enterprise firewall where you've got different locations and you need to connect your different locations and branches together, then you will need to have different firewalls in different locations to ensure that the communication between your different branches remains secure. So now with those firewalls, you have a throughput of up to 1 Gbps because these are for smaller office locations and branches. And for these networks, you need to enable firewalling, application control, web filter or web control, intrusion prevention, antivirus, and VPNs. And then the next generation firewalls, you deploy them normally either in the head office, and we also got the data center firewalls if you need to segment your data centers using firewalls. Excuse me. And then we've also got the internal segmentation firewall, or ISFW. This is where you have different network segments within the same organization. So, for example, you have a different firewall to secure your finance department, your IT department, and so on. This is a good idea so that in the event that a device for example, in the IT department gets compromised, the attack will not spread laterally to the finance department. Why? Because both networks will have firewalls that keeps them separate from each other. So one thing I have discovered while performing cybersecurity assessments is that people believe that with firewalls, the entire network remains secure. Now, different attacks target different devices in the network. Hence, it's important to use different security tools to protect different systems in the organization. So here we're talking about email security to protect your email services. So in Fortinet, we use FortiMail. So FortiMail is an anti-spam device designed to protect your network from email threats. This means that if an attacker is trying to use your email server as the means to generate their threats, then the FortiMail or any other anti-spam service will help you quickly discover and eliminate such threats. Now, here we have the sandbox, or the Fortinet sandbox. So it works like any other sandbox. Now, the function of the sandbox is to detect zero-day attacks. So what happens here is that the sandbox, what it does is that it allows the attachments to be executed in a secure environment. So the attachment with the malware will be sent to this sandbox, and the sandbox will execute the file and analyze the behavior of the file, see what files it's trying to modify, and potentially compromise system. And based on the file behavior, the sandbox can quickly send a report that, hey, this attachment is clean or this attachment is compromised based on the behavior. So it's like you let someone free to do whatever they want to better understand the person's behavior. The next, still with the FortiMail here. So with the anti-spam device called FortiMail, we're able to prevent attacks that come in the method of email attachment. So the attack vector here that will prevent protection for is through email attachment. So if the attacker sends an attachment that is compromised, the FortiMail or any other anti-spam device can detect threats that come through email attachments, also threats that come through URL links, because sometimes spammers send you an email saying, "Hey, click on this link to get your DHL device," and so on. So here, the FortiMail device is able to detect email that have been embedded with malicious URLs. So what happens here as well is that the sandbox is able to detect what website will that malicious URL lead the user to. So if the website is detected to be malicious, the sandbox will then send a notification to the email device or the anti-spam device that this email contains malicious URLs, so do not forward it to the client. So the idea here is that we ensure that only clean emails with clean embedded URLs and clean attachments actually get to the client. Now, in terms of the attack vector using web browsing. Here we use the FortiGate firewall or any other similar firewall. So here we ensure that the users or clients only access uncompromised servers. Right? So what the firewall also does is that it also prevents users from accessing websites that contain malicious scripts and other exploits hosted on that server. Then we've got the FortiWeb WAF. WAF stands for Web Application Firewalls. So what this does is that it protects your internally hosted web servers. So when we have published services, we can have normal users and malicious users trying to access those web applications. So what the FortiWeb does, amongst others, is that it protects attacks that target your web forms, attacks that target your email services, and attacks that target your standard banking applications. So it's also able to load balance the user traffic to ensure optimized access to your web applications. So still on the FortiWeb, it protects against attacks that target your web applications. So advanced threats can be uploaded to a poorly rated or compromised website, and from there, the attacker will use that website to gain a foothold into the organization and further propagate their attacks. So we also got the endpoint security. So here we're able to protect the endpoints from attacks based on USB delivery. Now, all the other devices we spoke about, such as the firewall, the web application firewall, the sandbox, and the endless spam device, they are all at the perimeter of the network. But what if the attacker has tried breaking the perimeter and now decides to use a compromised USB stick? So the attacker leaves the USB stick somewhere that is visible, and then the user plugs in the USB stick into their endpoint. So with the client protection, with the client's scan security, what it does is that it allows the administrator to enforce that, okay, one, either only a specific USB device will be allowed to run on the endpoints, or two, before the USB stick is actually run on the system, the endpoint security software will analyze the USB stick and make sure that there is no executable malware that is currently hidden in the USB stick. So here we're ensuring that the security also gets to the endpoint. Then the CNC, in the event that we enforce or enable or install our security solutions after the network is already compromised, then these CNC tools will be downloaded and updated over time. So here we also use the FortiGate device and the FortiSandbox to ensure that, okay, even though the route software has already been installed on the client, when the CNC connection is initiated either from the client or from the CNC server, the firewall and the sandbox is able to detect that, okay, the destination IP address or the source IP address, depending on where the connection is triggered, is the IP address of known CNC servers. So we have a global database that contains the IP addresses of known CNC servers. So whenever the network or whenever the firewall detects that there is a connection being initiated to or from a known IP address from a CNC server, it will stop that connection. Then for lateral movement, here we also need to use the endpoint client or FortiClient if you're using Fortinet products. So it ensures that if one device gets compromised, it will not spread to other devices on the network. So here we're enforcing the security at the system or endpoint level. So this is a lateral movement. We're coming back to the discussion about internal network segmentation. So here you ensure that you have different firewalls protecting different segments of the network. You can think of it as firewalling different departments in the organization. So again, it means that if a device in the IT department gets compromised, the threat will not spread to the finance department. Because I'm sure you've read in the news that several organizations are completely down. It's because all of the departments have been compromised and the attacker has got access to the entire network and brought the entire organization down. However, if you have proper departmental segmentation, if one department gets compromised, the attack will not spread to all the departments in the organization. So other users will still be able to perform their tasks while the team tries to contain the threat that hits their IT department. So just a quick summary of the kill chain. So to prevent attacks that are propagated through email attachments, you use the anti-spam and sandbox. If you're going with Fortinet products, it'll be 40 mil and 40 sandbox. And then if you're trying to prevent attacks that come through embedded malicious URLs, use the anti-spam and the sandbox to check the links to make sure that those links are not containing threats. And then to prevent attacks coming through users trying to access compromised websites through a link or whatever, then you use your firewall. And yes, it's okay. Just a second, please. I think someone's asking a question. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I have to respond to a question. Okay. And then if you're trying to prevent web application attacks, you will use WAF or web application firewall. So if we're going with Fortinet, it's called the FortiWay. So the web application firewalls are dedicated to protect your published applications and websites and so on. And then the out of band is what we're talking about, the endpoint security, where you're able to enforce security at the endpoints to prevent attacks using the USB. And then for command and control attacks that contain keyloggers and so on, you can use your firewall and your sandbox and your endpoint security. Now, endpoint security are software that you install on the endpoint. So they're a bit more advanced than your normal antivirus software, because your antivirus software only helps you to scan files and so on. But endpoint security allows you to control the applications that can run on the laptop or device. It's also able to help you decide which USB to allow, what USB stick to not allow, or you can completely block off USB access on the endpoint. And finally, to prevent lateral movement, you should properly segment your network and also install endpoint security and have a sandbox, and that's pretty much it, I'd say. Okay. So the MITRE attack matrix is an inbuilt solution that allows the sandbox to properly identify threats. It's a large topic, so I'm not going to really go into that. But it's pretty much the tool that allows the Forti sandbox and several other sandbox providers to detect threats before they get into the network. So threats and files and URLs that are sent to the sandbox uses the MITRE matrix to quickly identify and detect those threats. So putting it all together using the Fortinet security fabric, I'll quickly talk about that to round up here. So what the Fortinet security fabric does is that when you have different devices providing security in your organization, it gets complex, right? So especially, when you change administrators and so on. So what the security fabric does is that it puts all of your network devices together and into a single pane of glass, so the security administrator can quickly have and understand what devices are currently providing what security for what part of the network. So it's broad. It allows for integration of your security functions and also provides automated responses to security threats. Excuse me. So I decided to include the slide to quickly show you how you can segment different parts of providing security for different segments of your organization. So you have one firewall, for example, for your IT department, one for finance, and one for the management team. And as you can see here, the networks are properly separated. So attacks that somehow manage to get to any of the network segments will not spread to other segments of the network. So the automation stitches here, this is something that is proprietary to Fortinet. So it allows you to configure automated responses to security threats that have been identified in your network. So an example here is when you configure your automation stitches, if an endpoint, this is an example, you can configure hundreds and possibly thousands of automation stitches or automated responses to threats. However, in this example, the configured automation stitch, what it does is that if this endpoint gets compromised, the fault analyzer or the reporting device sends a notification to the firewall saying, hey, this endpoint has been identified to be compromised. Now, the firewall, using your automation stitches, can send a notification through Microsoft Teams to the IT administrator saying, hey, we have detected an endpoint that has been compromised, and these are the actions that have been taken based on the automation stitch that you configured as the administrator. And then at the same time, while it's sending the message to the IT administrator, it also sends a message to the FortiClient endpoint management server saying, you should quarantine client X, because client X has been identified to have been compromised. So all of this will occur automatically. Now, why is it important to have automated responses to security threats? So imagine a large organization with 2,000 users. For these large organizations, they receive hundreds and sometimes thousands of attacks. Now, your security team, you cannot have 1,000 team members in every organization. So what the automation stage does, or automatically your security operations center, it allows you to pre-configure automatic actions as responses to security threats. So for example, you can say if a virus is found on this endpoint, quarantine the endpoint. If a malware is found, take different action. So with this, you don't have to invest too much in manpower. You just configure the responses to different security threats, and then you update your automation stitches as new threats are found either in the network or based on global research. And that's pretty much it. So we went through different types of cyber attacks. We identified different threat actors and their motivations. We'll walk through the anatomy of an attack, the kill chain, different ways attacks are propagated. And we looked at breaking the kill chain using Fortinet products as a case study. And we also looked at how we can automate responses to these security threats. So it's a very broad topic, and we're just trying to merge together different different ways to ensure cybersecurity using Fortinet products. So thank you, everyone. And it has been a pleasure. So please feel free to ask your questions, and I'll be more than happy to provide you the responses that you need. Again, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Valentin, for that very informative and insightful topic for today regarding the cybersecurity. So, I hope everyone learns a lot from Mr. Valentin, right? And this cybersecurity is very crucial right now, not only for personal use but for enterprise as well, which is we have to secure our business operations and the whole network as well. Okay, so let me share back my screen here. Now let's go to our most exciting part, the question and answer. So everyone, prepare your question. Audience or participants can type their questions in the chat box, and I will read that questions for our speaker to be answered. And we are only allocated for 10 to 15 minutes on the Q&A. So everyone, please, if you have any concerns or anything you missed on this topic, you're almost welcome to share or your questions, or if you have any knowledge as well you want to share to everyone. Okay, we have first question here from Mr. Michael Abdon. So the question is, how is AI influencing the future of segmented network security? How is AI influencing the segmented network segmented network security?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Michael. So AI has made it more interesting for both the attackers and those who prevent the attacks. So from my perspective, AI will just make attacks way more dynamic than it already is. So it just means that we all have to get into the AI trend, or else the attackers will use AI to, even though AI is not currently designed to accept, excuse me, Reddit malicious code, but there are ways around that. The bottom line there is that we both need to be aware on how to use AI to protect against attacks. Now, AI is currently being used as a means to identify the responses to security threats and automate those responses. So that's what I think. It'll make things way more dynamic for white hackers and black hackers. I hope that answers your question somewhat.
Okay, second question. Here we go. Is internal segmentation firewall, or ISF, a hardware or virtual firewall, and where is it normally placed in an enterprise peripheral or somewhere else? Or is it your ordinary FortiGate firewall configured to do internal segmentation? Again, let me read again the question. Is internal segmentation firewall, or ISF, a hardware or virtual firewall, and where is it normally placed in an enterprise peripheral or somewhere else? Or is it your ordinary FortiGate firewall configured to do internal segmentation?
Okay. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Khalid. That's a pretty good question. So for segmentation, you can either use physical or virtual firewalls, right? So the idea really is to ensure that the communication between different departments is not it's not flat, meaning that it's properly segmented. So you can either use your virtual firewalls or your normal, you can use hardware firewalls, because virtual firewalls do not allow the free flow of traffic between different network segments. So if you choose to use your ordinary FortiGate firewall, then you can create your VDOMs or your virtual firewalls to ensure that the traffic from different segments of the network do not flow freely back and forth. I hope that answers your question, Carlito.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that answers the question of Mr. Carlito. If you have any follow-up question, just write here in the chat box. And if you are satisfied with the answer from our speaker, just raise your thumbs. Okay. Right. More questions from Mr. Mike Julius Lorenzo. Good day, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Here are some of my questions. Wow, 3 questions from Mr. Mike. First, what technical skills or tools are absolutely essential for an aspiring security analyst to master when starting out in a threat detection or incident response role? Second, what would you suggest are the most beneficial certification path for someone that is aspiring to specialize in defense security, particularly around network security and segmentation? And third, what if I want to pursue a career focusing on advanced threat analysis and sandboxing, which specific Fortinet certifications would you recommend for developing that skill set?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mike Julius. So, I will say to question number 1, the tools you absolutely need. The first should be your firewalling. So make sure you get certified or just get good knowledge with firewalling. Now, based on the trend in terms of certifications, most organizations value getting a Fortinet certification. However, if you choose to go with any other provider, you can go with Palo Alto. But Fortinet and Palo Alto are the leaders in terms of firewalling. So the first certification you want to get is the Fortinet NSE4 certification. And to the second question, it's quite similar to the first. 1, get your certifications in terms of firewalling, and then you can go on to non-specific certifications such as your CSSP and your ICE and other non-vendor specific certifications. But for a start, get your Cisco certifications, because that is still required for your actual to display that you've got some knowledge on the core networks, and then go on to start getting the Fortinet certifications, NSE4, NSE5, NSE6. I think that will be a good start. And for question number 3, I would say the same certifications apply, because if you have, what you can do is get the firewall certification, which is the NSE4, the Network Security Expert 4. That's a Fortinet certification. And then it's not really critical. Like, it's not critical to be certified in sandboxing, but because the sandbox itself, it's pretty automated, so you don't need to really do any configurations. So you don't need to have a specific certification for sandboxing. So again, get your firewall certification, NSE4, get the FortiMail, FortiWeb, and the FortiManager certifications, and that would be a good start. So if you can get those 4 alongside getting your Cisco certifications, that also be the best way to go. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Mike.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Mr. Valentin, for the 3 questions from Mr. Mike. Hopefully, you satisfied the answer from our speaker. And next question from Mr. Emmanuel Dizon. Okay, this is a normal question, according to him. So will there be another webinar like this in the future? Well, I guess, of course, yeah, it is cybersecurity. Let me answer this one. Yeah, Mr. Emmanuel, we have lots of webinars, especially in the cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is really it's a vital part of the organization right now. And we will look forward for more webinars for this. Okay. And we'll inform you, keep you informed about that. So stay tuned to our website, to our Facebook page. So you may well informed all the time. Next, from Mr. Benito Santos. In your opinion, what are advantages and disadvantages in terms of network security using like Fortinet, any other security, which are the best to use?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Benito. So, what we recommend is that to provide better and enhanced security for your network, you should not stick to a specific product. So what you should do is different vendors have got different products that work best. So you can use Gartner or any other resource to check what is the best product, for example, for firewalling, for sandboxing, and so on. So it's not really a good idea to use just one vendor throughout your entire network. Why? Because in some cases, if there is a compromise on one vendor device, then it's possible that the attacker can use the same threat or the same compromise to attack or compromise other devices from the same vendor. So what I usually recommend, get different devices, the best devices from different vendors to provide different to protect different segments of your network. I hope that answers your question, Benito.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Mr. Valentin. Just a reminder, so there will be an e-certificate for all participants, those who registered online. We'll gather all your information and we'll prepare this e-certificate and we'll send it to you within this week. So don't worry, this webinar is very beneficial to your, not only for education and career, but also it will be added more points to your career development. Okay, so this is the benefits of attending webinars. Okay, we still have more questions here. Okay, from Mr. Carlito Sabio. Is there any other way you can break the kill chain with FortiMail or FortiWeb or FortiClient without the FortiSandbox subscription? Or is FortiSandbox just supplementary? We have FortiGate 200F, but without FortiSandbox subscription. Oh, so they're using FortiGate, Fortinet product.
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Carlito. So the function of the FortiSandbox is to one, protect against zero-day attacks, right? So yes, it's actually supplementary, but if you're using just the FortiWeb or the FortiGate or whatever, then you're providing you're providing security using just the known signatures. But the function of the sandbox is to provide protection against zero-day attacks. So some attacks will go through, even though you got the FortiGate, FortiSandbox, and so on, if there is no known signature for it. What the FortiSandbox does is that, like I said, it provides a secure environment where the file can be executed and analyzed. So you still have good security with FortiGates, FortiMail, and so on. But specifically for zero-day attacks, you do need a FortiSandbox subscription to eliminate the chance of a zero-day attack getting through to your network. So it is not required, but it's very advised. It's something that most organizations need to go for now. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, so more questions here. And okay, we have compliments from Mr. Emmanuel. Thanks a lot. I'm in my first year in computer engineering and I learned a lot. Wow, so this is really, you are welcome. It's our pleasure to hear from a student, and yes, you are right. You are in the right group for now. So you better attend the webinars all the time. And next question again from Mr. Michael Abdon. How can enterprise organization prepare for zero trust architecture using segmentation?
Thank you very much for the question, Michael. So for zero trust means that depending on where the user is trying to access the network, they'll be able to access different services. Meaning, for example, someone who's trying to access the network from inside the office, they can access server A and B, while those who are trying to access the office using a VPN, they can only access server A. So basically, the idea behind zero trust is that you provide different levels of trust or different levels of access depending on where the user is coming from. So now the idea of zero trust or ZTNA is that you can either automate the process or you can do it manually. So automating a process means that, or implementing zero trust is that with zero trust, you analyze where is the user coming from and what software has been discovered on the user's endpoint. So for example, you can configure your zero trust to say, if you're trying to access the network from a VPN or from the internet, then you must have an antivirus software installed, or you can say a specific personal firewall should be installed, and so on. So with zero trust is able to dynamically monitor the endpoint to see if that software becomes uninstalled or if it's suspended or whatever. And immediately it discovers that the required software is no longer found, it will shut down the user's access. So zero trust is dynamic. So it's a good thing to implement because it analyzes the state of every device at every point in time. And if the device's state changes, then if implement ZTNA, because the state of the device has been altered, the user may not be granted access anymore or will have a reduced trust level. Meaning that you can, for example, if you have Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, you can access server A. If you've got only Microsoft Word, you can access server B. If you do not have Microsoft Word or Excel, then you can't access anything. So that's how you can implement zero trust. So again, with zero trust, you don't really need to have network segmentation because you allow different access to different networks based on where the user is coming from. So I hope that answers your question, Michael.
Okay, so thank you for the answer. So we have one question here from Mr. Irandat Ramber. Here's a question. Could you share us the best practices or strategies to measure and evaluate whether our multi-layered defenses are sufficient to protect our critical infrastructure or asset, or at the very least to minimize impact of an attack?
So one easy thing you can do is to do a pen test. Like you can either get professionals to do it, but now we've got specific software and hardware that can help you analyze your networks by running a penetration test, and then see the lapses that are currently found on your network, and then based on the results of the pen test, you can then decide, okay, we either need either a new anti-spam device or a new provider, or we need a new firewall and so on. So it's best to do a penetration test to see where you currently are in terms of your infrastructure layout, your assets, and so on. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I hope so that you answered the question from Mr. Irandato. And we have also a question from Mr. Denzel Leo Gadiano. I am a second-year computer engineering 2 interested in cybersecurity. Wow, so that's really good for you. While you are still studying, you better prepare for this career because cybersecurity is everywhere. Every organization, they really need cybersecurity. And this is the future as well. Next question. So we still have two more questions here. I hope this will be the last or three questions. Yeah. So the next is from Mr. Nidspar Muhammad Salih. So the best advice is to have different vendor in our network. For us, since we are in the retail industry, how can we monitor and secure access to third-party partners and suppliers, reducing the risk of a supply chain attack that might disrupt our business?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question, Mr. Nidspar. I hope I've been saying Mr. Maybe it's a miss, so please bear with
Yeah.
me. So yes, it's best practice to have, well, I will say from the perspective of network segmentation. So it means that if you have one FortiGate device as your perimeter firewall, you should have a Palo Alto firewall as your core firewall. So, however, in terms of your email security and anti-spam security, yes, you can use the same vendor. But in terms of the actual network segmentation, it's best practice to have different firewalls at different layers of the network. However, if you're talking about the internal segmentation or the ISFW firewalls, then you can use the same vendor because the idea really is to prevent the free flow of traffic between different departments in your organization. Okay, but again, you should also be careful if you're trying to go for a multi-vendor environment, because if you mix it up too much, then one, it becomes difficult to properly configure them because it means you have to get trained for the different vendors, right? And then troubleshooting can become a problem because you've done too much of the network, so you need to be critical about going for a multi-vendor environment as well. Okay. And to monitor, best to join forums and groups and ask questions about based on different experiences, because not what might work for user A may not work for user B. So it's best to get your information from different forums and grand groups and so on. I hope that answers the question, Mr. Nidspar.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Raymond Seda. According to a recent NIST 2025 report, by 2035, advancements in quantum computing could make it possible to crack all existing password-based security systems. With this looming threat, traditional defenses like firewalls or even network segmentation may no longer be effective on their own. What can be the guarantee that organizations and individuals will be protected in the same decades? And what strategies or technologies should we begin adopting now to ensure long-term cybersecurity resilience in the quantum era? Wow,
Yeah.
this is quantum
Thank you.
era already.
Yes, thank you very much for that interesting question, Raymond. So this is why we are strong on having multi-factor authentication, because the password alone cannot do it. So now it's best to use either an OTP as well. I'm sure you've noticed that many organizations now require sending an OTP to you. So multi-factor authentication is the best way forward for now, because password security alone, like you said, will not do it. So just ensure that you enforce multi-factor authentication. I hope that answers your question, Raymond.
Okay, so thank you for that answer, Mr. Valentin. We still have two more, so hopefully this will be the last. And I still have one question. I will be the last to want to ask a question. Just give me the chance, Mr. Valentin. Okay, from Mr. Miss Sandara Nicole Di Manuel. Okay, could it be possible for a service engineer to dive through cybersecurity field? Well, yes, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Because like you have people moving. Yeah, you definitely can. Like it's good that like you already have some service experience, so it'll be easier for you to make the switch. But definitely you can.
Yeah, she needs only certifications and experience. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because right now, I guess the demand in cybersecurity is very high, but the supply is low. Yeah, and there's a lot
Correct.
of opportunities in cybersecurity. Okay,
Correct.
yeah, this is a follow-up, I guess, affirmation from Mr. Nidspar Muhammad. Thanks, agree as what you've said. There would be pros and cons, with different vendor. Okay, here's my last question, Mr. Valentin. Cybersecurity is not my field, so I'm more on project management, business analysis. What about in, let's say, in oil and gas, automation? Let's say, how can we apply the cybersecurity, the breaking the kill chain? Because right now, all the tools, machineries are automated, just like uh, the what call this, to capture the meters and the measures of the status of the each machineries. So how can we apply the cybersecurity for this? Because sometimes it can be hacked directly to the machines, right? So yeah, I just want your opinion about this one.
Yes. Yes. So now to implement looking at OT or operational technology.
Yes.
So with OT, you have different signatures from IT, right? So the signatures for your meters and turbines are different from what you have for your computers and your laptops. However, if you implement an OT firewall, FortiGate has got OT in it. It's a different license. So when you enable OT on the FortiGate, it will use OT security measures to protect your different meters, and you can get your readings and so on. So you should be looking at implementing OT on your firewalls. I
You
hope
nailed it, Mr.
that
Valentin.
answers
Yeah,
your question.
yeah, yes,
Yes.
that's correct. OT, that's the solutions right now. That's why when I
Yes. Yes.
jump into the oil and gas, what is this OT? And there's
Sure.
an IT as well. So
Yes, it's
different
OT.
IT
Yes, OT.
and OT is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. Exactly. It's
that's correct.
totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. Yes.
All right. Okay. So again, thank you so much, and I'm sure everyone absorbed a lot of information and knowledge from Mr. Valentin. And don't worry, there will be a lot of cybersecurity webinars to come. So right now, we are 100, almost 134 participants. So that was really impressive for the ICpEP to gather this audience right now, anywhere, all over the world. Philippines, are you there? Hopefully the typhoon has gone. And hopefully you will have a good signal right now. And at the same time, also here in the Middle East, the weather is getting good. Qatar, UAE, Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi, KSA, and also from Singapore, I guess. And to all our students right now here, you are in the right place to attend this webinar. And you are also most welcome to ask or for any support from this ICpEP Qatar chapter. Okay, so without further ado, let's proceed to the next part of the webinar. The awarding of certificate. Okay. My colon, Engineer Maria Carlota D. Bakay, our Board of Directors for Media and Marketing, ICpEP Qatar, to award the certificate to our keynote speaker for this webinar. Yes, Engineer.
Teddy?
Yes, Engineer. Proceed for our awarding of certificate.
Okay. So before we conclude, we now present certificates of appreciation to the individuals who played key roles in the success of today's webinar. First, to our resource speaker, in recognition of your deep knowledge and expertise shared with us. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Mr. Valentin Wabuse in grateful appreciation of his distinguished service and invaluable support as the resource speaker during the second webinar session with the topic Enterprise Cybersecurity Resilience, Harnessing Segmented Networks and Multi-Layer Defense. An in-depth session on building a truly robust end-to-end cybersecurity infrastructure hosted by the Institute of Computer Engineers ICpEP Incorporated, Qatar chapter. Given this 27th day of September 2025 via Zoom meetings. Signed, Engineer May N. Hazareno, Secretary General ICpEP Qatar, Assistant Executive Secretary General ICpEP GCC, Engineer Raymond A. Seda, MBA PMP, Vice President Education ICpEP Qatar, Executive VP External Affairs and Education ICpEP GCC, Engineer Linelio O. Morga, PCPE, President ICpEP Qatar, Executive VP for Internal Affairs, ICpEP GCC. Chapter Recognition Number 2025-0002 and SC Registration Number 2011-20675.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Wabese, for being our keynote speaker for today. And this certificate will be sent to you soon. And next is
Thank you
the
very
award.
much.
Yeah, awarding also certificate to the moderator.
So next to our moderator for ensuring a smooth flow of the program. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Engineer Teddy Q. Caduco in grateful appreciation of his distinguished service and invaluable support as the moderator facilitator during the second webinar session with the topic Enterprise Cybersecurity Resilience, Harnessing Segmented Networks and Multi-Layer Defense. An in-depth session on building a truly robust end-to-end cybersecurity infrastructure hosted by the Institute of Computer Engineers ICpEP Incorporated, Qatar chapter. Given this 27th day of September 2025 via Zoom meetings. Signed, Engineer May N. Hazareno, Secretary General ICpEP Qatar, Assistant Executive Secretary General ICpEP GCC, Engineer Raymond A. Seda, MBA PMP, Vice President Education ICpEP Qatar, Executive VP External Affairs and Education ICpEP GCC, and Engineer Lenelio O. Morga, PCPE, President ICpEP Qatar, Executive VP for Internal Affairs, ICpEP GCC. Chapter Recognition Number 2025-0002, SEC Registration Number 2011-20675.
Thank you, Engineer Carl. It's my pleasure to be the moderator and of this webinar for today. Okay, so next is the evaluation link. So may we call on all participants to join this evaluation link. This evaluation link is very important to us, how we're going to improve our webinars in the future. And we also asking your support, your suggestions, comments. What is the best thing we can do to improve and to continue to share our knowledge through these webinars. This evaluation will be last only for 1 week. So better to take the evaluation as early as possible. And please note that those who participated in this evaluation will receive a certificate of webinar. So you can scan the QR code, and at the same time, we can share also the link in the box. So everyone, please scan the QR code. Okay, hopefully everyone has already got the QR code. The evaluation link is also in our chat box. You can click there if you have no mobile phone. If you have mobile phone, you can scan the QR code right in front of your desk. Okay, let's proceed to the next part. The announcement. All right. Announcement. Listen. Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated, 1 ICpEP, the 5th International and 13th National Convention, which will be held on November 19 to 21, 2025, from November 19 to 21, 2025. The convention will be held at Paradise Garden Resort Hotel and Convention Center, Boracay, Beachfront Station 2, Barangay Manok-Manok, Boracay Island, Malay, Aklan. So if you are there in the Philippines, those who are there in the Philippines as well, don't miss this event. And it's our opportunity, though it's our time to meet and greet, and also to know the roadmap, what will be the plan of the ICpEP for future events and gatherings. So the theme of the 1 ICpEP is optimizing nation building through engineering, inspiring change, progress, excellence, and partnership. You can scan also the QR code at the bottom of the poster to register for the convention. There's an early bird, online, and regular membership. Next announcement is the preparation of PCPE certification applications. So this is all only for ICpEP Qatar members, okay? So those who are here, who are a member of ICpEP Qatar, they are all, we are calling you, especially those new members, to if you are interested to certify your professionalism in computer engineering. We are calling you to prepare your documents and your certifications as well, your experiences. So the application period will be from August 1 to November 15, 2025. And then the processing date is from November 16 until December 10, 2025. And the results of the certification will be before January 1, 2026. You can apply via www.cpecb.org.ph. Qatar-based applicants can coordinate also with the Qatar, with ICpEP State of Qatar officers for assistance. For confirmation or inquiries, please contact Engineer May Hazareno. Email icpepqatar@gmail.com. Mobile number is 6621-8556. Or you can contact Engineer Lenelio Morga, PCPE. Email is icpepqatar@gmail.com. Mobile number 3358-0420 and 5206-5144. Certified locally, practice globally. Representing Filipino computer engineers in Qatar. Next, for your information, we had a courtesy call with His Excellence Ambassador Mardumel Silo de Melicor. This courtesy call happened last Monday, September 22, 2025. The ICpEP Qatar is greatly honored to introduce the newly established professional organization Qatar. The session of Ambassador was indeed informative and productive. At the same time, we Here also our mission and vision, our social responsibilities and future plans that will benefit not only the ICpEP members but also our kabayans here in Qatar to be more literate in IT, cybersecurity, and personal information awareness. So this is what so far our accomplishment for this week, to have a courtesy call with our ambassador. And we are really honored that our embassy are supporting also the ICpEP. Okay, so those were the announcements. These are the webinar teams. So let's give them a hand of applause as well. These are the faces that brought you our keynote speaker today across the miles. So we are really thankful also for the team. And we look forward for more support in this webinar. And this is also the ICpEP Qatar chapter, headed by Engineer Linelium Morga. We have also the EXICOM officers, the board of directors. So ICpEP is growing, and members are adding each day. It's right now ICpEP is having a noise in the public. We are also voting through radios, newspapers, and social medias. Also, the ICpEP GCC, headed by Engineer Hazel Lampitok, based in the KSA, is the president of the KSA chapter, and with also executive committee from different chapter from Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, KSA, and UAE. So these are all the persons behind the ICpEP here in Qatar and GCC. So to end this webinar, I would like to call Mr. Michael.
Thank you, Engineer Ted, for that deduction. Yes, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone in other parts of the world. Thank you for joining on today's webinar on Enterprise Cybersecurity Resilience, Harnessing Segmented Networks and Multi-Layered Defense. I would like to share with you guys key takeaways. Number one is the importance of cybersecurity resilience. Remember that resilience is crucial to defend against sophisticated and involving cyber threats in today's digital environment. Second is network segmentation benefits. Segmented networks reduce attack surfaces and contains breaches to prevent widespread damage. Next is multi-layered defense strategy. By combining firewalls, intrusion detection, endpoint security, and training creates a strong defense system. And the last one, continuous improvement. Regular vulnerability assessment and updates ensures defenses remain effective against new threats. We trust that the insights shared today by our resource speaker, Mr. Valentin Nuebeza, have deepened your understanding on how segmented networks and layered security approaches can significantly strengthen your organization's defense posture. As our colleague, Engineer Mark, stated a while ago, in a world where cyber threats are evolving rapidly, resilience is no longer optional. It is now essential. Let us remember that cybersecurity is not just a technical challenge, but a strategic priority. Building resilience means preparing not only to prevent attacks, but to detect, respond, and recover swiftly and effectively. As all of us return to our team's environment, may we be empowered to apply what we've learned, advocate for stronger security practices, and foster a culture of vigilance and collaboration. Thank you once again for your time and engagement. We look forward to continuing this journey with you in the future. Stay safe, stay resilient, and stay connected. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Michael Abdon, for that for enlightening us again regarding the topic for this webinar. Thank you so much also for reminding us how important cybersecurity and there is a future in this career. So again, we would like, in behalf of the ICpEP Qatar, we thank you to all the participants who spent their time here, and also to our keynote speaker, Mr. Valentin Numabeze. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much for giving your time and effort to have this webinar taken and to share the latest technology right now, and at the same time for answering the questions from our participants. So thank you so much. And don't forget to follow our social media pages. We have the Facebook page, ICpEP State of Qatar. We have also Instagram at the ICpEP Qatar. And as well, of course, we have LinkedIn page. So you better follow this for continue and more information that we will share to you. And of course, we have YouTube at ICpEP Qatar and our newly published website, www.icpepqatar.org. So thank you so much, all. We look forward for the next webinar, and long live ICpEP. Thank you so much, and mabuhay tayong lahat. Let's have a picture taking. Can you please open your camera? Engineers, IT professionals, students. For technical, can you remove the spotlight so we can capture all the attendees here? Engineer Arandato, maybe can you remove the spotlight from my side, or remove? Okay, I'll remove the spotlight. Who else? Remove. Wait. Oops. Okay. Okay. Can you open your cameras, please? Everyone. All participants, please open your cameras to have a picture taking. Hello.
I think the webcam is disabled. Can you please turn on, Engineer Arendato?
Can you remove the spotlight? Oh, the camera is disabled. The host has disabled opening cameras. So how can... Disabled po yung engineer, Iran Dato. Yung camera. Oh, Mr. Emil is here. Engineer Emil. Ayun. Yun. I'd like also to acknowledge the GCC President, Engineer Hazel Galas Lampito. He is here also. Thank you for attending, Engineer. Do you have any message? It's okay. What about our Qatar President, Engineer Linerio? Is he here or still in his MBA class? Any message, Engineer Linerio?
Not available, Ted.
Okay. Sa VP na lang. VP Raymond, you have any message or?
Actually, I don't have much message, but it was a good webinar. So I just want to announce, be ready next month. So we're preparing the next webinar. And also you can suggest, any one of you can suggest any topics, because I heard that someone is requesting about the same topics from the Fortinet, but maybe we can ask from Cisco or from other, but you can suggest. Send an email to us, and then we will try to get an expert. I think that's it. So we can just proceed with the taking the picture.
Okay. So, ilang pages ba to? First page. Okay, let me print the screen. 1, 2, 3. Freeze. Okay, next page. One, two, three. Freeze. Okay. Andyan pa si Engineer May. Hi, Engineer May. Next page. Wala na wala nang video. Engineer Emil, pakita naman ang itsura mo dyan. Wala na. 1, 2, 3. Meron pa 1, 2, 3. Last page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so got it all here. So again, thank you so much po sa lahat ng participants natin today. It was indeed successful webinars, hopefully. And don't forget your evaluation. Yeah, because through evaluation, we have the chance to know what is the result of this webinar, how we're gonna improve it, and at the same time, how to serve you and to lead you as well through this community. Thank you so much. Mabuhay ang ICpEP. Hindi na naka-record ka?
Nag-record din ako.
Okay. Again, thank you so much also, Mr. Valentin Wabeze.
Thank
you
you.
so much, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you. And best of luck with the next webinar.
Sure, sir.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Oh, yun pala si Engineer Lenelio Morgan nandito. Ano, press, may message. Nasa MBA class pa.
Ayun. Thank you very much. We have a successful webinar for today. Congratulations to everyone.
Congrats,
See you.
congrats. Long live
Congrats.
ICpEP.
Mabruk.
Mabruk. Thank you all for participating.
Susunod naman, next group. Thank you guys, thank you.
Okay. Thank you again sa lahat ng support.
Thank you.
Congrats.